Saturday, August 14th, 2021. And if you see me talking about the weather, there's a chance that there's a hurricane or tropical storm or some type of tropical disturbance heading in our general direction. I wasn't going to do a set of videos on what's left of the remnants of Fred, but I think it's going to reemerge as a tropical storm, Fred, and it looks like we are in that projected path currently here on the northern Gulf Coast in Dauphin Island, Alabama. So let's get into this. All right, a real quick lay of the land. Straight in front of me is the Gulf of Mexico. I'm on a barrier island that sits just off coastal Alabama called Dauphin Island. I'm going to pan to the right. In that direction, and in a very close proximity, is the Mississippi Sound, Mississippi Gulf Coast in that direction. If I go to my left, that will be towards Gulf Shores, Alabama, Panama City, Florida, and down on the Florida Panhandle. If I spin around in that direction, that's our trusty tennis courts, and that would be headed north into Mobile, Alabama. Fred's current location is just re-emerging into the Gulf of Mexico, just above, Dominican Republic. So still in the southern Gulf of Mexico, northern Caribbean, just re-emerging. That direction is this way. All right, so this storm, when I first started kind of tracking it, was supposed to curve more along the western shore of Florida and kind of ride up the coast, and a little bit cooler water. Well, we have a more western track at this point, and there is some really warm water that sits right along that track. Now, there is wind shear, which is going to inhibit strength, but the water is smoking hot, and I think it definitely will cause impacts here at this point if the track remains the same. Let's look at a few graphics, starting to get excited about it. All right, here's the latest update on the remnants of Fred. Now, the reason why we're looking at remnants of Fred is as this storm has kind of tracked throughout the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, and so forth, it was kept relatively weak because of its interaction with land. Well, now it has kind of reemerged into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, if you look, and I'll look at these in a minute on some other loops, some other graphics, so you can kind of look at this system right now. It's kind of like a trough. There is no real circulation. It's kind of just a trough at this point because of a lot of wind shear. And that wind shear is not going to go anywhere. At least I don't think so. It's possible, but doubtful. So as this storm moves into this much warmer water, it does have a chance to strengthen somewhat. I don't think it's out of the question for this to become a Category 1 storm, Category 1 hurricane, but I think it will stay relatively run-of-the-mill type tropical storm. Now, the reason why I'm starting to do videos is as this storm was tracking more along the Florida coast, the water is a little cooler in there. In this central Gulf of Mexico, there's some really warm water in there. And again, because of wind shear, I don't think it will develop a closed center of circulation. I think it will be lopsided on the eastern side. So even if this center of circulation does come ashore right here in Dauphin Island, it's going to be on the eastern side of that storm where you're going to have the most impacts. All right, this is one of my favorite models. This is an intensity guidance model. So on our left axis, this axis going up and down, is our wind speed. The axis going across on the bottom, our X and Y axes, this is time in terms of hours moving forward on the bottom. So you can see this yellow here, and this would be up to Category 1 strength hurricane winds. So most of the models have this storm staying as, a relatively run-of-the-mill tropical storm. Two of the models have it getting close to a Category 1 storm. So again, this isn't a game-changing system per se, but anytime that we have tropical weather on top of high tide, on top of a foot or two of storm surge, we're always going to have some impacts, especially on coastal lying areas, beach houses, things like that. So we do have to keep our eyes on that, but the intensity guidance isn't that terrible. All right, I wanted to show a picture of the live Doppler radar. So this is the southern tip of Florida. This is the Florida Keys down here where the red is. And I just want to show you this because I mentioned that there wasn't really any sign of circulation. The center of circulation is somewhere in this general area. But there is no west wind coming out of the west that will cause convection here. It's like a low pressure trough coming out of the east. So because of the wind shear, there's not a defined area of circulation here, but as it moves kind of inches further to the north, there is a really good chance that we do get the beginning of some convection, but it just won't happen very quickly because of the wind shear. I'm going to pan to the north a little bit. The purple line is the current projected landfall path. We are right here, right on this barrier island, right there, just to the north of that. So if the center of circulation does come ashore right where this line is, and we have an eastern-sided, lopsided storm, our impacts are going to be felt in this area. Okay. Now there's a standard deviation when we're looking at forecast tracks and cones. So generally that standard deviation is about a 100-mile deviation. So that purple line is the center of the projected models. 100-mile standard deviation would put a potential landfall to the east 100 miles or to the west 100 miles. So a buddy of mine, Ryan Mason, he's in Moss Point, Pascagoula area, which is right above or right next to where we are as well. So we could see, hypothetically, him getting some landfall and then us getting the impacts here. So standard deviation of 100 miles in this storm will be east-sided. So if you're on the east side of it, you can expect more impacts. If you're on the west side of it, chances are you might have a really nice day. All right, a quick look at the infrared radar. As you can see, there is some thunderstorm activity and looks to be some type of potential of storms starting to form on maybe a western edge of this developing center that has still not found its way to form any type of convection. So let's keep our eyes on this one. I'll do an update at some point a little bit later on. But right now, we just have the remnants of Fred, which again should develop here, say in the next 12, 16 hours as it enters this really warm water here in the Gulf of Mexico and give us a tropical storm to watch. So hey, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, I'm just a run-of-the-mill guy that enjoys the weather. Got into it as a young surfer. I would follow the waves, and the weather was a big part of that. Anyway, please subscribe, and I'll pan out to the beach here and give you guys a goodbye. But hopefully this is a good storm, and I can bring you some good weather videos. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Again, it is 11:25 a.m. Central Standard Time. And again, I'm here in Dauphin Island, Alabama. The storm is moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour, which, if that keeps up, should put that center making landfall somewhere on the northern Gulf Coast. So I'll do my next update a little bit later on. It may even be tomorrow, sometime in the middle of the day. But once the weather starts going downhill, I will be the first person on it. Take care. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And we will see you very, very, very soon. Thank you to all my weather people, man. I love you out there. Thanks for watching. I mean that a lot. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, Fred. And don't forget about Grace. Grace is the next storm up, and this one could be devastating. It just depends on the track and whether or not it gets inhibited by land, as it is on the same type of track as Fred to traverse the Dominican and the Puerto Rico area and Haiti and that area. So we will see how Grace goes, but two vintage names, Fred and Grace. Grace Kelly, Fred Astaire, Fred and Grace are out there. Watch out for Grace too. Grace could be one to watch. But we're going to watch Fred, and hopefully it brings us a good time. Take care, everyone. Much love. Peace.